Here are 10 online reviews of the audiobook titled Mythos, written and narrated by Stephen Fry. 1. Nonsense. This reminds me of 1970s relevant works such as The Bible Turned Into, God is for Real Man. Trite, trivial, appealing to the lowest common denominator. I'm certainly not an academic snob, but this version of the great myths is just silly. If you like the reduction of human experiences expressed in ancient myths to the idiotic and simplistic, go for it. This text is clueless as to the message of these tales to the more profound human experience that represents itself in art and literature. 2. Childish narration. Not a fan. It sounds very much like a British children's story using words like mummy and overall very cartoonish narration. I've tried pushing past that, but I just can't do it. It feels like you're sitting watching British children's TV. There is unnecessary description and inflection. That is, overtly trying to be comedic. It's honestly rather irritating. 3. Just not interesting. I used to love the myths when I was younger and expected I would enjoy this book, but the years have changed my interests. I just found it tedious and boring and completely uninteresting. A bunch of spoiled brats doing spoiled brat stuff. I can't imagine on what basis the Greek and Romans chose to have deities with these qualities. Granted, they were primitive, and despite being portrayed as sophisticated, were truly just a bunch of tribes that kind of bumped into winning some wars. But there is nothing in this group of beings that were worshipped that would inspire anyone towards growing, doing well by the world, the earth, the creatures of the earth and the people who live there. Nothing to aspire to, just a bunch of unsupervised, out of control preschoolers. I know all about the literature, which is amazing, and some of the engineering by the Romans, although delivering water and not figuring out soap is kind of odd, is a testament to what could have been done if they'd stopped murdering people, enslaving people, and searching for glory as portrayed by these idiot deities. What a waste. 4. Boring. I was really looking forward to the book, but found it very boring and far too long. There were really interesting parts, but all the explaining about the children, etc., just made no sense and was incredibly boring. 5. The format just didn't work for me. This review is for the audiobook. I love Stephen Fry's writing and performances. Unfortunately, the format of this book really worked against it. I just wish Fry had chosen to focus more narrowly on a select few gods, rather than trying to exhaustively cover them all. At times the X begat Y, who begat Z sections felt straight out of the Old Testament. Don't get me wrong, the good parts are very good, but the in-between parts are a slog. I had the hardest time not spacing out and letting my mind wander during the in-between sections that I'd suddenly realize I was missing a good part and would have to rewind. Ultimately, I gave up about halfway through. Although Stephen Fry's narration is superb, I can't help but think that reading it might be the way to go so that you can skip to the good stuff more easily. 6. 2.5 stars for the myths and 5 stars for Fry. 2.5 stars. I loved Stephen Fry's writing style. He did an amazing job retelling the Greek myths. His retelling is humorous and whimsical. The only reason I'm giving this 2.5 stars is because I got a bit tired or disgusted with all of the sex and rape. Stephen Fry does a masterful job telling the stories in a fun way, but if you are going to tell Greek myths, there really isn't any way to get around all of the sleeping around of the gods. Stephen Fry should get 10 stars for this. However, the Greek myths themselves I would only give 2. 7. Fry's Guide to the Greek Pantheon. Stephen Fry's Mythos was kind of a perfect storm for me. I had been both on a Greek mythology jag since reading Madeline Miller's Circe and Song of Achilles, both of which I heartily recommend, and a Stephen Fry jag since listening to his reading of the Holmes stories. When I saw Stephen Fry had written and narrated a book on the great Greek myths, I bought it immediately and loved it from word one. Fry makes the myths and legends accessible, humorous, tragic, and horrifying, often all at once. Much like his Victorian Secrets series, Fry injects his sharp wit and keen intellect to retell the most well-known myths in history in a way that's fresh, original, and perpetually engaging. Whether you're a college professor, a curious tween, or a well-read pensioner, there's something for everyone here. 8. Great fun. This was so thoroughly entertaining that even if you know absolutely nothing about Greek mythology, you'll be guaranteed to enjoy it. I certainly did. My only knowledge of Greek mythology is from reading Metamorphosis decades ago, and my memory of everything was foggy. But Stephen Fry has an amusing and imaginative way of telling these stories that brings them all to full life and color. I love how he often pauses to mention how the stories have influenced English literature and the naming of things in medicine and science. This was just as educational as it was entertaining for me. 9. From the lips of a storyteller. From time to time, Greek mythology can be repetitive, fun, confusing, epic, redundant, mystical, conflicting, and enchanting. Stephen Fry has taken a collection of stories from Greek myth and organized them in such a way as to make them coherent within something of a timeline. Further, he has carried the stories with him and converted them to today's lexicon, as well as added certain storytelling flourishes of his own. Fry presents a much more coherent, fun, epic, and enchanting storyline that carries you through much of the Greek stories of the gods and their culture. This audiobook was a 15-hour joyride. 10. That voice. Can't wait to listen to entire series. I adore anything by the legendary delightful Stephen Fry. He's a mythical god in himself. A great educator. He makes difficult subjects so approachable. I never knew learning could be so much fun. He makes me laugh aloud. Please do philosophy, more history. I'll buy anything by Fry for my permanent Audible library. I've been a huge fan since I heard him speak live at a 2003 film festival for Bright Young Things, and Wild, who he portrays so sensitively, is still my favorite film. He's truly an international treasure. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Tune in for more online audiobooks reviews.